The file you are about to hear has been thoroughly scrutinized by the Ethics Committee and approved by the O5 Council for release to trusted associates of the Foundation. This is SCP Unredacted. Its monolithic visage over the earthen landscape insinuates a straight, narrow path, but one more accurately describes the bridge as a cropped streak of tumultuous ocean, each facet breaking into and swarming over others. The bridge extends inland, yew trees twisting and contorting into their compatriots, branches like spiders' webs, trunks pulsating all directions in an eternal sway. They dance without wind. The atmosphere, thick with artificial air, sulfurous and sweet in equal measure, chokes local weather. The traveler may understand the bridge begins 200 meters into the Salisbury Trail, while others interpret the start several hundred meters away in either direction. Classification besides, sometime into that winding path, past dense, tentacle-like branches, and muddy greenish-brown ascends the bridge. Although one doesn't perceive its sudden 80% incline, local gravity ensuring safe travel, the perspective shift illuminates a previously imperceptible chaos beyond the canopy. Uncountable trinkets and gadgets, keepsakes and toys, supplies and heirlooms among variously mangled, blank-staring simulacra. Most all the created persons here lie in disaster, missing arms, legs, mouths, heads. To focus on one of a million corners, a head, cauterized at the neck's base, stares wildly in all directions, pupils constantly agitated, and an open metal box lies aside. Countless stacks of metal boxes surround the head like a castle. The head's mouth is permanently agape. The impression recalls a Medusa victim, petrified with fear. Looking at the head, you imagine yourself in the mythical Gorgon's position, and indeed, a stone barrier manifests between you and the anguished crown. Most objects meet the same fate, only for another object or simulacrum to take its place. One sight can disappear instantly from view, as the lack of a clear trail prohibits the finding of one's way, save further up. You step over debris, ditches, and giant plant life to ascend. The bridge continues. Several hundred feet up, the ruins of stone architecture spiral from its center, up and out like an octopus. Towers rise past the side limits in all directions. A massive central chamber inside contains staircases to all other branches. The engulfing space seems to trap visitors like a swallowing mouth, stuck in place by its omnipresence. All sides, all angles. Despite the massive display, the castle inside is bare, save an enormous framed portrait depicting a robed and scowling King Jones I. In the late physical era, Jones, half-cousin of the then British royal, claimed ascendancy to the throne via a convoluted family path. Media regarded Jones as a curiosity and a joke, and followed his life extensively. Photographers never caught Jones, both outside and inside, without a yellow royal mantle. He raised a yellow flag atop his country estate. With his numerous servants, he enacted and reenacted royal parades throughout London and stood for hundreds of portraits. In late winter, the estate went silent. No servants, no flag, no portraits. Trespassers photographed total absence within the house. Several thousand meters up, clouds fog the bridge and chaos diminishes. A clearly defined trail forms, packed with dirt, stone, and germs. Here, a different complexity arises, an outpost of tents. One dark silhouette, rolling in his sleeping bag, rouses from dream. He says that he came up out of desperation, escape. He couldn't live with his wife anymore, with his children. Not for eternity, he says. He's made a tiny camp on the outskirts of the bridge. Tents lie small and dark on the thin plain, except his soul-illuminated dwelling. He calls it Salisbury Place. He says one can see Salisbury from here, climbing the bridge like a beanstalk. Several million miles up, stars consume the terrain, and the trail has diminished to specks of land connected by threads. One false step presents no danger. Bridge the gaps. The trail wisps up and down, sinks and ascends. One may climb to their heart's content. One may climb to the planet Mars, past the asteroid belt, past the solar system, billions upon billions of miles, and the bridge would continue with them. One may find the ruined satellite Voyager with its golden disk meant for eyes unknown and climb upon it, and let the arc of artificial material follow them. The bridge continues. Thank you for listening. If you like what you hear, join my Discord community, hire me on Fiverr, or help support me by becoming a patron for as little as $3 a month. Regardless of tier, all patrons get early access to every single episode. The links are in the description. I don't have the talent it takes to write a skip. All I do is read. Original authors make this podcast possible, so credit to the original author. Their links in the description. Show them some love as well. Consider becoming a member of the SCP Wiki. Upvote their work, and maybe write a skip of your own. Maybe I'll read it here someday. You never know if you never try. The content of this podcast and content relating to the SCP Foundation, including the SCP Foundation logo, is licensed under Creative Commons Sharealike 3.0, and all concepts originate from scpwiki.com and its authors. This recording, being derived from this content, is hereby also released under Creative Commons Sharealike 3.0.